on the microphone. We had a rapper performing, and he was getting them hype and ready, and the shots started ringing out, and everybody had to take over.
A total of 28 individuals have been identified as victims of gunfire. 5 of the victims, and maybe possibly 6, we're still trying to verify, were children.
A terrible tragedy in small-town Arkansas, a mass shooting during a car show down in Dumas on Saturday, leaving 1 person dead and dozens others recovering. The smallest victim just 1 year old. This morning, we are going to take a closer look at what happened and how this community is trying to move forward. And good morning from Dumas. It's a quiet Monday morning here in Dumas, far different from what happened on Saturday night. It was an event that was filled with friends and family. It was supposed to be just another fun Saturday night in March. Instead, obviously a very different situation down here in Dumas with a shooting that has left nearly 30 people injured and 1 man dead. We are going to discuss this incident at great detail coming up, but first we're going to send things back to Amanda and Scott in Little Rock.
All right, thank you so much, Hayden. Definitely a lot to cover there. But here at home, we're going to start with the weather today because there is heavy rain coming for parts of the state today. So what's that outlook, Scott?
So we're going to be dry this morning. The rain holds off until this afternoon into this evening, and we could pick up a decent amount of rain, thankfully in much needed areas in southern Arkansas that are experiencing that drought. Let's take a look outside. Our first look into the central Arkansas area this morning shows skies are clear. It's pretty mild outside, really hard to complain, especially coming off the hills of what was a picture-perfect weather weekend. Now temperatures right now sitting in the upper 40s, low 50s across the area. It's 49 in Little Rock, 39 in Clinton, 44 currently in Searcy. We'll warm up to 70 degrees today, so not as warm as yesterday, but certainly comfortable. Unfortunately, while we do start dry this morning, rain moves in by this afternoon into this evening. Flash flood watches already in effect for southern Arkansas. And while we don't want flash flooding, we do really need the rain. There is a good majority of southern Arkansas under severe, even extreme drought conditions, and we do suspect we'll put a dent into that drought with this rain. It's going to be soggy through your Tuesday. Flash flooding, of course, possible. We'll take a look at that risk, and we'll also get an idea of what the second half of the week has in store for us. Those details and more coming right up.
Now to our continuing coverage of the shooting in Dumas from Saturday night. We want to go back to Hayden, who is live in Dumas this morning with the very latest. Hayden, looking a lot different there today.
Amanda, you said it right there. A very quiet Monday morning here in Dumas. This small town community not used to getting the attention that obviously they are after what happened on Saturday night. It was supposed to be just a fun night full of friends and family at the 16th annual Hood Nic event. People just wanted to come and look at some classic cars. Instead, it was a very unfortunate scene on Saturday night with 2 people shooting at each other, causing over 24 injuries and leaving 1 person dead. The first 911 call went out at 6:50 Saturday night. Organizers say Dumas police were already there for the car show and immediately started looking for the shooters. Now, over the next few hours, more than a dozen local and state agencies responded once the full scope of the shooting was realized.
As a result of this shooting incident, a total of 28 individuals have been identified as victims of gunfire.
At least 5 children were shot. The oldest is 11, the youngest victim just 19 months old.
We are actively following leads of a possible second suspect involved.
State police say 1 person died at the scene, 23-year-old Cameron Schaefer of Jacksonville.
You know, it's shocking. We have a small community, a farming community in Dumas. 5,000 people, and then we have an incident of multi-victims. It's just, you don't expect that from small town Arkansas.
So again, all this event happening on Saturday night. Here on Monday morning, what we know right now, there was 1 person arrested on Saturday night, but those were with unrelated charges. So Dumas police and Arkansas State Police still looking for 2 shooters that have not been captured yet. But we want to talk about all these folks who were just here on a Saturday to have a good night with their family. These victims were different, from different ages to different areas here from around southeast Arkansas. But we're talking about one in particular that these kids were not expecting to be in such a situation. Now, as for these victims, many of them were treated at area hospitals here in Southeast Arkansas, but some of the youngest victims were flown all the way back to Children's in Little Rock. Now, the youngest victim, he was just a year old, Angelo Ussery. Now, his family actually shared video and pictures with us. You can see it's just heartbreaking to see him this way. Now, he is still in the hospital this morning. We actually got to talk to his father on Sunday, who tells us he learned that the chaos had been going on and that his son was actually hurt.
When I heard the gunshots, I just thought, people were shooting in the air, so I jumped in my car and I was leaving out of Dumas until I got a phone call from my son's mom saying that my son had been shot.
So again, his father tells us Angelo had surgery yesterday and had a bullet wound about the size of a quarter in his leg. And of course, they are praying for him to make a full recovery. Again, this was all such a shock to the Southeast Arkansas community, and they want this violence to end. They never wanted it to begin in the first place. But then on Sunday, the day after the shooting, a lot of people got together and wanted to raise awareness to say this is not who we are down here in Southeast Arkansas. This is a wonderful community full of wonderful people, and they want this violence to end as soon as possible. Now, there was actually a prayer vigil down here on Sunday as well. Many people coming together here in Dumas to release balloons and do as much as they could to say that this type of event is not who we are. In fact, they talked about how special that Hood Nic event was, and the foundation was the one that actually hosted that balloon release on Sunday to honor those victims. And we talked with a couple of members of that organization, and they said that Hood Nic just promotes nonviolence, and they absolutely hate to see this type of incident happen. Just take a listen.
For people to come and commit the crime that had nothing to do with here, for those babies to be hurt, to do it in front of our elders, our, those kids, our grandparents, pregnant women, everybody, they had no regards to anybody's life. But everybody knows everybody, so imagine the victims, it impacted all of us.
And she said it there, it impacts all of them. They continue to say, organizers of the committee saying that they're trying to reach out personally to each of these victims. And I was able to listen to them a little bit on Sunday as well. They want to reach out and make sure that every single one of these people that was affected by this horrible incident can actually be reached out and talked to, and understand that they know what they're going through and they understand it's such a tough situation. So again, a lot of people down here in Dumas and really this entire Southeast Arkansas area still in shock about what happened, and quite frankly, a lot of folks are just trying to put the pieces together, figure everything else. And we just want you to hear from some of these amazing heroes who did everything they could, these first responders that were immediately available to help all of these folks out.
And we had one guy that got hurt, and he let the kids and the women go before him getting waited on. And he is a hometown hero. His name is Steven, but he did amazing. He let everybody go in front of him. He just wanted to make sure that the women and the babies were taken care of first. And he's amazing for that.
Again, this is still a lot of shock going on down here in Dumas on this Monday morning. Coming up, we're going to have much more from these heroes and about these folks who are trying to stop this violence where it never should have started in the first place. Again, it's an interesting morning. We did not think we would be down here early on this Monday morning, but Amanda, I'm going to send things back to you. We will have much more from Dumas in just a little bit.
Hayden, too, I'm thinking about everyone there who's not only just dealing with the after effects, but knowing that these shooters are still out there and police are working hard to get them. I know that's got to be just kind of unsettling for them this morning, as they just want some, people to be able to be taken in. It's just very uncomfortable, and it's just so hard to see, Hayden.
It is. It's a little bit of an uneasy feeling. Folks are probably a little concerned. Obviously, the whereabouts of these two individuals, police are looking for them as we speak. But I think it says a lot to this community, too, about how tight-knit they are and how special they are. Because these are folks, man, it's small-town Arkansas, and they grow up together. They raise this place together, and it's really, really tight-knit. So it was unfortunate, and as tragic as this event was on Saturday night, this community has come together in an unbelievable way, and hopefully those two suspects are apprehended soon by law enforcement.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much for that coverage there, Hayden, and good to see the community coming together in spite of such an awful event that happened over the weekend. And now we will talk to Hayden a little bit later, but we do have more coverage from Dumas right now available on thv-11.com, and you can watch the entire news conference from Arkansas State Police and see our reporting from over the weekend. It's also available free on the THV11 mobile app.